your wedding is a momentous occasion, which deserves the utmost capacity of planning. The same energy that you put towards choosing your venue, your photographer, videographer, it's the same energy when it comes to choosing your makeup artist. And I can tell you, as a professional wedding planner, a sought-after makeup artist is booked a year in advance. So get to it. Today, we have the privilege of being on set with one of the most talented international makeup artists, also a beauty educator. Today, help me welcome from where you are. Give it a clap for Thalia Robinson.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You look so gorgeous.
You look gorgeous.
Oh my good Lord.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, definitely, definitely. So, give me some of these accents that you've been dropping on us on Instagram.
Oh, Jesse. Oh my God.
Oh my God, she came out with, oh, Jesse.
I always say my husband's never going to be bored because you're going to get like 6 different people in
Different
one person.
Oh my good Lord. And that's what's good about us. We're different people at any time of the day, any time of the month.
Absolutely.
We're all different when it comes to the hair, the makeup, and how our attitude fluctuates, you know? So definitely.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
yes.
we are so glad to have you here today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Definitely. So tell us, give us a little bit about you, your upbringing. Was it always a mission for you to be an international makeup artist?
Well, as a firm believer in Christ, I have learned a long time ago that you can have a whole plan for your life. You think you know where you're going, and then boom, God just like installs something in your spirit. And you know, for me, it started as a dream, like an actual dream, a literal dream, where God provided me a picture of the logo, the name of the business, which is Beautifully Made, which is what the BYM stands for. But I've always been a creative. I've always been performing. I've been on stage. I've been making people laugh, even when I don't think I'm very funny. But
you are, girl. Very, very.
I'm goofy. I'm goofy.
I'm constantly on your IG page. You are.
But I think for me, always being very expressive, I've always embraced who I was. I know that's something that a lot of people can struggle with trying to establish like your identity.
Yes.
So I think one of the things that led me to my passion was really standing in my own light and just embracing who I was from a very young age, you know?
What is the BYM artistry experience?
I like how you said that. I might need that as a soundbite.
BYM artistry.
Hey! Well, I would say as a girl that loves to be pampered, I love my self-care days, which I didn't always. I didn't always have a set day where I'd say, okay, Thalia, this is your moment to kind of like revamp and like unwind and center back to, you know, a place of peace or whatever it may be, especially after work. So over the years, I have kind of honed the experience into like a getaway, right? It's such a high stress moment leading up to wedding day, the day of the wedding, that, you know, a lot of people don't think that, they don't realize how crucial the glam team is on wedding day.
Very.
We spend the most time with the bride, the most intimate time with the bride, right? You know, I'm sure you just setting schedules and timelines, you can see just the time gap between when the bride comes into her get ready location, when she's, you know, set to go to the venue, if the venue's not where she's getting ready. And much of that time is spent with hair and makeup.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I have seen it as an opportunity to, you know, just kind of shelter her in a way where it's her escape away from the crazy and the chaos, and, you know, giving her an experience beyond makeup. It's very much more than makeup when I just reflect over the amount of brides that I've had, which I don't even know if I can count anymore. It's definitely been a couple thousand.
And oh wow.
Yeah, no.
That's amazing.
Full time for 10 years, yeah.
And they deserve it. The bride,
Absolutely.
they spent months and months planning this special celebration. And on the day of, a makeup artist who can really bring them to a calm and soothing moment.
Yeah.
And I've seen where tea is given, you know, they've given them tea, you know, the massage, and they truly deserve it.
They don't think of it. I love the moments where they're like, oh my God, like whatever my little, for me, my special moments, I'm not gonna give it away, but you know, I do little, there's little incentives that I do that are things that they wouldn't think about. And it's a moment where they're like, wow, I really feel special. Wow, I thought I was just getting makeup application. No, sis, I'm here too.
The full thing, the
I'm not
full
trying to take
throttle.
you from your husband, but
Hey,
you know, like
I will woo
this
you.
treatment will have you like, okay.
We are definitely going to have more of Thalia. We'll be right back.
Attention all brides-to-be, elevate your wedding day look with exquisite bridal jewelry and headpiece from Jewels by Charles. Our collection features unique and luxurious design crafted to make you shine on your special day. Follow us on Instagram at Jewels by Charles for a glimpse into our stunning creation. Whether you prefer in-person or virtual consultation, we're here to help you find that perfect piece to complement your style. Make your bridal dreams come true with Jewels by Charles.
And we are back with more with Thalia. I have more questions for you.
Bring it on.
So, I know that a lot of people don't understand, but I want you to clarify for us. Why is bridal makeup much more expensive than your regular makeup?
That's a great question. I know that's a very controversial topic, and
Yes.
this is gonna get juicy. But I would say, as opposed to traditional makeup, there are factors and elements that make bridal makeup very specific to, as far as attention to detail, right? The time that goes into the intimate time that you spend with the brides, talking about their vision, talking about their expectations, the calls back and forth, the emails back and forth. I'm just trying to think of everything. It's such a full, the entire transaction from beginning when you're vetting your vendors to the very day of the wedding is not, there's no room for error, right? So it's a level of almost perfectionism, right? That's required to execute on wedding day, to make sure that your ducks are in a row, the bride's happy, you know, you're exceeding expectations because people often don't even know what they want in real life, right?
Yeah.
So when they seek their vendors, they have this idea in their head, more than likely something they saw on Pinterest or Instagram, TikTok, you name it. But oftentimes when you have the conversation with them, you have your consultation, it's like, what do you actually want, right? And you realize that you're in a position of, you're kind of having to speak and think for them as far as what they want to achieve, right? So I would just say starting out with that alone puts you in a position where you have to, it demands so much of you, right? And that's taking away from, let's say if you work up 9 to 5, or you have kids, or you have, you know, a salon that you have to tend to, right? Just those expectations alone is very time consuming.
And I think the application itself as well. I am no makeup artist, but I've watched other makeup artists where the application, from what I'm noticing, is that it's more resistant to let's say an oily skin or whatever the weather may bring or certain things. Because I've seen sometimes the makeup artists, they go further,
Extra
you know,
lengths,
yeah, to make sure that the bride is foolproof for pre-bridal shoot to until they walk out of that venue after their reception.
Absolutely.
So I do notice that.
So the, like I said, the attention to detail, I think that's very inclusive of what you're talking about. Just because, you know, most times if you've done a consultation or you haven't, depending on your services, some people don't offer bridal previews is what we may call it, or a trial. But getting to know the subject's skin type or how their skin reacts to humidity or just weather in general. If they're a crier, if they're a sweater, all of those things you have to factor in, and the application varies for all of those different, you know, factors. So it's, how should I say? It's, like I said, no room for error. So you have to ensure that those investigative questions are kind of being tackled before wedding day, right? So that's why I say having the communication, the conversation before wedding day is so important, because walking into that day in itself, there's no time for you to kind of like, what are you thinking? What do you like? They're already so flustered with everything else. Exactly.
Okay.
So
Do you think, and this question is formulated out of a conversation that I had with another bride, okay? And I wanted to ask you, do you think that a makeup artist with a large follower has an impact on how they charge?
Absolutely. In this era of social media, I do think so. Now, can it be abused? Yes, I think it's definitely been abused in some instances. However, I think it's fair to say that for the majority, that number is a reflection of not only their work, their consistency, their ability to be a team player. A lot of those followers come from word of mouth, just people being a part of the experience, even if they weren't necessarily a bride that they've had, right?
But they admire that makeup artist.
Exactly. So there are a number of different reasons why someone could have a high following count. However, I don't want it to discourage people, right? Aspiring other vendors, whatever your field may be. I know it's very easy to allow that to be somewhat of a distraction from your mission, right? And we're so consumed with, oh my God, I don't have a K next to my following count, right? But, you know, at the same time, that number for them came from consistency. So your only mission is to pedal to the metal. You got a mission, you got a purpose, you go after that, and you know, you don't let anyone or anything get in your way, you know?
And do you know that I've also experienced makeup artists who's consistently busy and their following count is very low. Literally, I have this young lady, I know this young lady, she's done my makeup plenty of time. She probably has about 1,300 followers, but she's constantly busy. She's constantly busy. She provides amazing work.
And unfortunately, that you'll experience, especially like I said, in this day and age, you get overlooked just for that, right? But I will say that there's so much more talent beyond the facade of Instagram, right?
Yes.
I'm blessed and fortunate to have the platform that I do, but I don't make it my life. I don't make it my personality. I don't use that as a, I don't lead with that, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because I know as quick as God gives, he can take away. So that's for me a reminder constantly to remain humble.
Yes.
You know, it's God has loaned you this platform. You do with it what needs to be done with God in mind, right?
And you can look at it in many different ways. And I think I mentioned to you earlier in a conversation that there's someone that taught me something very early on when I thought, you know, I had this all figured out. And I was saying, oh, I'm experienced, I'm this, I'm that. And she said to me, your bank account tells you how experienced you are, you know? and it was not based on how many followers or anything like that. And I'm not discrediting anybody with followers. Actually, just like you mentioned earlier, it shows your path. You know, people admire the work that you're able to do.
Right.
I cannot do makeup, you know, so, or whatever that people do, you know, in their field. And it shows that you've been doing well in a way, and people admire you.
Right.
So that's not to discredit anybody with a large follower. You know,
Right.
we want the followers to tell you the truth, because that's how
Absolutely.
we spread out the word, you know, of what we
Absolutely.
do. However, I just don't want the next bride to get caught up on, oh, they don't have a large enough followers for me,
Right.
you know?
Right. And that's also why I say, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but brides, when you are, let me look at you directly. When you are vetting your vendors, keep in mind your vision, keep in mind who you are at your core, and as much as inspiration is great, don't allow that to be the deciding factor on how you create this day or who you're choosing for your day, because at the end of the day, when years have passed and you have those pictures to look back on, it needs to represent you and your partner, you and your husband. So if the people that you are seeking don't represent or are not a great example of who you are, what you stand for, what you like, don't do that to yourself.
I agree, 100%.
So
So what's a dollar amount that you think a bride needs to allocate towards her beauty? So let's say makeup specifically. What's a dollar amount that they should plan on spending? It's not necessarily the exact amount, but it's a start.
I think, well, the average cost of wedding makeup right now, I would say it obviously depends on location and the market in your area. So the average cost would probably be about $200 for a bride. Depending on the artist, their specialty, how many years of expertise they have, it can vary. I would say safely an in-demand, well sought out artist, I would safely say about $1,500 upwards of that.
1,500. Wow.
And if you're doing a destination wedding, factoring in travel, again, years of expertise, you know, that artist leaving local business behind to tend to your wedding day, upwards of $2,000 and up.
Well, you hear it from the horse's mouth. So anywhere from 200 to 2,500. And I'm gonna say that the 200, it's probably just for the day of. It probably does not include the pre-trial, right?
Right, so you'll have tiers, right? Depending on the person's packages, what they're offering. Like I said, some people don't do trials, and that's okay, right? More than likely, you'll find someone that doesn't offer trials as, again, an in-demand artist that, you know, depending on your perspective, but I see it as this person is very seasoned in the game, right? They know their audience. They already have a established set of clientele that have been watching them for years. So they already know what they want. They already know that they want this artist. So there's no need to do a trial for them, right? But again, depending on the tier, if you are just doing the day of wedding makeup, then the application itself may be $200, but that's more than likely on the lesser end of experience, right? Which is okay, that's fine, because we all have to start from somewhere, right? So I don't discourage if your pricing is set to lesser than, you know, your competitor or whatever, what have you. But I will also say that I think the beauty industry is doing a good job, but I think we need to do more of having these kind of conversations where people are educated. We have this open dialogue. It's not a secret, right? It's okay to talk about it and discuss it, because it's an opportunity for people to see, oh, that's why this costs this much. Oh, what, makeup isn't as cheap as I thought it was, you know?
That is definitely the purpose of Before the Veil. I want to bring on people like you to come in and be fully transparent and educate the upcoming brides and grooms on how things work, you know, because a lot of time we get waves of newly engaged.
Right.
And they have this number in mind, but they really don't know how to allocate different amount towards
Absolutely.
the services. And if you're taking the route of planning your wedding by yourself,
Ooh.
which I don't recommend,
Please get a planner. Please get a professional planner.
so it's really important that we do educate these newly engaged couples, so you know they'll make better financial decisions. Basically.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, my dear, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Chaque fois nous shooter, nous toujours fait valser. Bonne nouvelle.
And we are back. So, Thalia, how do you deal with difficult bridesmaids?
Oh, Jesus. Let's say a little prayer real quick. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, I'm for it.